Hello, science students. You're going to be conducting your own experiment at home this week, and it's called Drops of Water on a Penny. You're going to practice all the steps of the scientific method in order to help you study for your upcoming test. You're also going to be inserting data tables and graphs like we've been practicing at home and in class. So what you're going to do is you're going to drop water onto a penny's surface until the surface tension breaks and the penny starts to overflow. You will then dip the penny in a different liquid, such as oil, like a vegetable oil. You could use soap, you could use shampoo. I suggest something a little bit thicker because it might work a little bit better. But you'll dip the penny in that substance of your choice, let it dab off a little bit, and then place your penny on a paper towel or whatever you have around, and then put drops of water on it again. So your goal is to compare a plain penny with no covering, dipped in nothing, versus a penny that's dipped in something, both with water drops on top. And here we go. Okay, so the first part of this lab is to ask a question and form a hypothesis. When you go to ask your question, I want you to look back in this text in order to find a good question and make sure you phrase it in the form of a question with a question mark. And then you're going to form your hypothesis. Remember, your hypothesis has three parts: if, and that's going to have your independent variable in it, and record, which is going to have your dependent variable in it, then I predict. And so you're predicting something about the penny with no coating is going to have more drops on it, or the penny with some kind of coating is going to have drops on it. One or the other is going to be your prediction. So go ahead and do that now before you actually run the experiment. Okay, I've already explained this procedure a little bit. You can see what you need in the materials section here. But basically, you're going to take a penny, put it on a piece of paper towel or napkin, whatever you have lying around, and you're going to drop water droplets on top of it, counting them until it starts to overflow. Then you're going to record that piece of data. You're going to repeat that 2 more times for a total of three trials. Then you'll create an average from that. Next, you will dip the penny in any liquid of your choice. I chose soap in this case, but again, I would pick something that's a thicker liquid. It might work a little bit better. And then you'll drop water again on top of that penny until it overflows, record your data, and you'll do that again 2 more times for a total of 3 trials again, and then do an average. When you are doing this, you should record it in a data table, which we'll look at here on the next slide. All right, here's your data table. And you want to have this set up before you actually conduct the experiment so you have somewhere to write the data down. But basically it's going to look something like this. And you're going to have your title in there. Remember, you got to merge those cells in order to get that title. Your dependent variable is going to be over here. You got to decide what that is. And your independent variable will be in this first column. Now notice how I have these trial 1, 2, and 3, and then the average. So you'll have to also merge these 2 cells to make this work well for you when you insert the data table. All right, next you will analyze your results. Once you've conducted the experiment, you're going to actually analyze your results by creating some kind of graph. You are going to create a bar graph with the average number of drops on each for each liquid, so just the average. You don't have to do all the trials. Don't forget your labels and your title. Again, I already told you which graph fits the best, but you got to think about why you're choosing that graph. When you're setting up your graph, remember you got your dependent variable on your y-axis and your independent variable on your x-axis. And don't forget about all the components of a graph. Make sure you have all the things that you need on there in order to get your full credit. The next section on this experiment is to analyze kind of your results by identifying your independent and dependent variables. And then you're going to tell me why it's important to repeat your experiment. All of these things, these definitions, are on your notes that you took on Friday. So make sure you look back at those notes. All right, last thing is to draw conclusions And you're going to use your 3 sentence starters in order to do that. Remember, there's a little mnemonic device Ms. Koppel uses. Please make her shut up to remember your sentence starters. But if you forget, we've already listed it there for you since we know that it's been a while since you've done all this. So make sure you do that. When you're doing your purpose, you're going back to your question. You're not making up some random purpose. When you're doing your major findings, you should be including those averages. And then your hypothesis, you're telling us what you had predicted in the beginning, not what you predicted now, what you had written on your paper earlier, and then telling me whether or not it was supported by the data. So you're telling me if you're basically right or wrong. And then you're going to submit this to It's Learning. If you have any questions, please contact your teacher via email or Google Hangouts or Google Meet. Thanks. Have fun.